Okay, so welcome. We are with Holland Bloorview Rehabilitation Hospital Foundation. My name is Michael Ragsdale. I'm the Director of Community Fundraising, and I've been at Holland Bloorview since April 2020, so exactly 3 years and 1 week today. And I was our first remote hire, which was interesting to say the least. And unlike Greg, who just got back, I will be going on my first international trip since the pandemic in a month or two, so I'm very excited for that.
And I'm Greg Wade. I'm the Senior Donor Database Administrator. So we use Razor's Edge, and part of my job is to integrate engaging networks to Razor's Edge. So I'm of mixed minds about this whole plain language header thing, because I'm the only one who knows what export data 3 means, which is good job security for me. But we'll see what happens. I've been at HB coming up on 10 years in November, and I just got off a plane from Iceland a couple days ago, so I'm still very jet lagged. So willkommen and good afternoon. All right, so a bit about Holland Bloorview. We were created in 1899 by some people who didn't really do branding very well. We've had some terrible names over the year, including the Home for Incurable Children. Eventually, they said we should change that. Look out the window. What do you see? Oh, we're on Bloor Street? Great, we're Bloorview. So that's how we got that name. And we're not on Bloor anymore, so we're kind of stuck with it. But anyway, such is life. So we provide both inpatient and outpatient services for kids who are rehabilitating. And we're a global leader in applied research, teaching and learning, and client family-centered care with a vision to create a world of possibility for kids with disabilities. So our fundraising mix is actually fairly standard, I think, in terms of how we break it out. We've got annual programs, leadership and plan giving, corporate giving and events, grants, a nice little staff giving platform. We have our big Capes for Kids peer-to-peer, and you might have seen some branding in some of the earlier presentations today, so they love showing us off. And Giving Tuesday. So we started doing Giving Tuesday in 2015, along with a lot of other organizations, and said, oh, this is the thing, we should do it. And so originally it was social media and staff giving based. I remember standing in the lobby of our hospital giving out candy, saying, hey, you can give us money. As Giving Tuesday developed as a thing, so did our program over the years. So we're going to tell you a bit about that. So just some results here. So starting off in 2015, we were just like, hey, you know, if Giving Tuesday is the thing, if you're giving people money, we like money too, so give it to us. So we had some modest results, but you know, money's money, and we'll take it. Continuing on in 2016, some slight growth. 2017, we kind of forgot about it. So we just kind of woke up that morning and said, oh, we should do something. So we did. But so we know there's a bit of a dip there. And then we got back on track in 2018 and 2019. And then we struck gold in 2020, doing a little better in terms of the total amount, and have been continuing well since then, including kind of doubling that 2020 number in 2022. So what happened in 2020 that gave us that bump? So for once, the 2020 thing wasn't COVID. 2 major things happened. First of all, Mike came on board. And second, we switched to engaging networks. So we previously were using a solution that was separate online giving and email broadcast platforms. So to make them talk together was a lot of data work and importing and exporting files and waiting around and doing a lot of manual stuff. We also benefited from engaging networks' better reporting tools than our previous solution. We were also at a bit of a crossroads where initially we had a low annual fee, high transaction fee platform for processing. We got to the point where we actually were processing enough volume and dollars that it made sense to invest in a platform that had a higher annual fee, but then lower transaction fees. So we're kind of right at that point where it was even money either way, but we were trending in the right direction by switching over. And also we wanted a platform that could hire high transaction volumes, because one of the problems we had with our old platform was that it couldn't, especially during Giving Tuesday, it would get overwhelmed and shut down just because everybody was using their platform on that day. And so I'm going to turn over to Mike to tell you a bit more about our current strategy.
Yeah, so our Giving Tuesday campaign, it's still very much digital first, but we're increasingly trying to make it more multi and omni-channel. So that just means we're having our Giving Tuesday branding kind of seep into our direct mails, which kind of go out the month before and a couple of days after usually. We started to incorporate SMS texting and telemarketing at the time. Typically, our Giving Tuesday campaign follows a week-long series of emails. We usually send a sneak peek email about a week before, priming our donors that it's coming up in case they forgot. And then we're going to usually announce a match donation that we're lucky to secure from a major donor a couple days before. And then on the day of, it's kind of full throttle. We send 3 to 4 emails throughout the day. We sending SMS text messages throughout the day. It's all over our social media, both paid and organic. It's part of our larger holiday year-end social media campaigns, but it does have its own unique branding and CTA, so it differentiates out itself. And again, 2 years ago, we started SMS texting with some great results. We played around with it a few times, testing whether we're only going to text people who aren't getting our emails. And last year, we texted people who also got our emails on the day, and we did see a nice bump from that. So we'll probably continue that. So we're very excited that SMS texting is also going to live on the platform that we're sending our emails. So we're definitely going to be looking at that this year. Okay. Again, we're testing always of our Giving Tuesday campaign. Engaging Networks makes it really easy to do that, which is great. Some tests we've done in the past, we've tested CTAs, we've tested subject lines, email banners. We've tested last year starting to incorporate animated countdown clocks with great success, which was great. A frequent test of ours is really getting our 2 or 3 times match up front and center with some nice imagery on it, which always helps, we find. As well, we try to make full use of Engaging Networks' conditional content features. So we're really personalizing our messaging to our supporters. So on Giving Tuesday, we're acknowledging our donors who've given to Giving Tuesdays of years past. So we're thanking them for their past Giving Tuesday support and asking them if they'll support us again on Giving Tuesday. For our monthly donors, we treat Giving Tuesday as a one-off opportunity to ask them, which we don't normally do throughout the year, but we're thanking them for their monthly support, and then we're also asking them to make a special one-time Giving Tuesday gift. As well, we condition it to people who aren't given to us, so they maybe get a little bit of a smaller ask, as well as acknowledging our active donors as well. We make sure that we're making full use of easy-to-use donation forms. Particularly making sure that it's mobile friendly. Last year, about 45% of our donations that came through our Giving Tuesday form were on mobile. So, it's quickly approaching 50%. So we want to make sure it's as mobile friendly as possible, as well as offering the features that our supporters want to see. So we're still giving them the opportunity to send a tribute, an e-card on the Giving Tuesday day. Being a hospital for kids and youth with disabilities, accessibility is very important to us. So we make sure that our donation forms are completely accessible for screen readers and any other devices that people might be using to help with them navigate it. We've been lucky enough to have some very nice matching gifts that our major gift team is able to secure for us. So we try to get a 2 or 3 times match on Giving Tuesday, which always we see positive results from. So we frequently get comments from our donors thanking us and being really pleased to see that their gift's going to have 2 or 3 times the impact. And we also treat Giving Tuesday as an opportunity not just for the annual program community fundraising team to raise money, but we also let our provide it for our corporate major gifts, mid-level teams to also solicit donations, as well as our staff giving. So they leverage our branding and they're securing gifts that might not necessarily go towards our Giving Tuesday appeal line, but they're able to get those gifts as well. So all of those gifts wouldn't have been in the table that Greg showed you earlier, but we're still able to boost results across all of our teams on the day. Okay. So other things that we've done in the past, again, I mentioned we've started to use countdown animations with success. So we started testing them out on the actual day of, showing that there's 12 hours left, 8 hours left. We tested that last year for the first time, and we did see the countdowns win over the controls. So we'll probably continue doing that. Typically, our emails come from Sandra Hawken, who's our president and CEO of the foundation. But we do try to break up the chain of emails by having a letter come directly from one of our client families, which we frequently see as the most successful email of the day. So we have it as a personal letter that we're able to collaborate with one of our client families. So they are speaking from the heart, thanking our donors and asking them to support another child or youth like theirs. In the past, we've tested having an ad in a newspaper. So in 2021, the Toronto Star did a Giving Tuesday insert on the day. And so we featured an ad there with a QR code, which came, front of mind as part of the pandemic, which we saw some interesting results there. And we also always try to have impactful video and images through all of our ads. So whether it's our organic and paid social media, in our emails, and on the donation form as well, we have a pretty big and powerful image kind of front and center. So on the screen, it's just an example of an email that we did last year. So again, we have the branding that you see in the email banner is kind of across all of our advertisements and messaging related to Giving Tuesday. We have different images, but the branding and the icons stay the same. This particular email went out at 6 a.m. on Giving Tuesday, and it was conditional to our past supporters. So at the very beginning, it kind of acknowledges their past support of us on Giving Tuesday. And that little orange gift icon is a test we frequently like to try, and it almost always wins over the control. So we make sure we feature that so they see the 3 times match really front and center. Here's a couple of social media graphics that we also featured last year. Again, you see this same branding that we had for the email, but just with different images. These social media are part of our paid campaign that Aber runs for us. I know they're speaking, I think, tomorrow, so it's great to see them. And here is just 2 other examples that we've done. So the image on the left is the text message that we did last year. Again, so we sent a broadcast message to our supporters. It would have been personalized. This is just a test image that I sent to myself, asking them to reply with the word donate, and that keyword automatically resulted in a reply inviting them to click through and make a donation. So we used a separate donation form for our text messaging so we could track it better. And we did see quite strong results from that. And in the image on the right is just the Toronto Star ad that I mentioned earlier that we featured back in 2021. It was a full page ad that the Toronto Star provided for charities on that day. And yeah, looking ahead, so we're super excited. As you saw, Giving Tuesday is a core part of Holland Bloorview's digital fundraising, as well as just kind of our fundraising in general, because again, we use it beyond just our annual program fundraising. So we're super excited to continue our personalization of our appeals and emails and SMS texting in engaging networks. Very excited for the text messages directly out of engaging networks, especially hearing that there will be the opportunity for us to have a conversation with our supporters in the future at a future release. Because we have found that as well. In addition to raising money, being able to have a kind of a live conversation with a donor via text is pretty special, and they do feel seen. We send it from our CEO, and I'm constantly getting people connecting to us, thanking our CEO for texting them. She's had people call her, thanking them for texting them, not realizing that they weren't actually having a conversation with Sandra. They're having one with me. And we're going to continue testing new ways in engaging networks and, in our texting and in our mailings as well. This year, front of line for our testing, we're going to be testing kind of one-page donation form versus a multi-page form, which is our standard, and kind of looking to go beyond the current testing that we're doing, which has usually been strictly with the emails.
Thank you so much. Guys, take a seat. Well, thanks for all that. Thanks for presenting. We have a couple questions coming in. So the first one, curious if sending 3 to 4 emails on the day of led to an increase in unsubscribes.
Not particularly. We didn't see any increase in our unsubscribe rate, which was interesting. I would say for the 4th email, we only sent that one to those who didn't open the first or 2 of the 3 emails on the day. So not everyone got that email. What we did notice in the past, we used to send an email on like Giving Tuesday Eve, like the Monday before, but it was always our lowest performing email, and we did get unsubscribes there. So we stopped doing that the last 2 years, and we didn't see any negative results. Like as you saw on the chart, our revenue's gone up, so eliminating that one email we saw as a positive.
Got it. I mean, and I can tell you from the technical back end of things, seeing what lots of clients do on certain days. We just had a client for Earth Day send 21 messages over the weekends. and only saw the tiniest difference in an unsubscribe rate from there, which is kind of surprising. Because you'd think if you sent 21 emails to your subscribers that they would be very annoyed with you. And maybe they were, and they just weren't looking at them. But I think what they were really going for was just trying to get placement among everybody else that is doing something on Earth Day, and just trying to hope that you open your email at 11:09 a.m. and they just send something there. And I think trying to time that can be very difficult.
And again, like with our list, we make sure we're not emailing like our major donors on Giving Tuesday. Like they might be getting direct asks from their relationship manager, or like our board members who might not want to get 5 emails from us that day. So we definitely make sure that we're not emailing too many times to certain audiences.
We've also never really tricked anybody into joining our list, so they're all there intentionally and are less likely to unsubscribe, I think, than some other situations, particularly for-profits and little lists that you end up on, you don't know why.
Yeah, and I think that's smart what you just mentioned about thinking about who you're emailing and when you're emailing them. But it sounds like you also do email your major gift donors and things like that, which as a former major gift officer, I'm a big proponent of that. I think them seeing an impact email and being asked for $100 is not going to stop them from giving you $1 million. And in fact, all the research tends to show they'll actually probably give a lot faster because they're seeing lots of those little things. So you can think of those as little soft touches you're doing along the way. So if you don't mind sharing, what was your overall marketing budget for your Giving Tuesday campaign?
So it's hard to tell because we treat our paid advertising as one. So it's incorporated within our holiday and year-end campaign. So it's a little bit different. So we don't treat it separately than that. But we do like our designing in-house. So I don't know if at the top of my head, but I would say it's probably in the range of maybe like 50 to 60,000 in paid advertisements. And that's really the only expense that we, deal with at that time of year. Everything else is done in-house.
Got it. It's the only thing you're writing a check for. Yeah. Okay. Next coming up, so any difference in the age of donors using SMS to give via phone versus your overall donor age that's giving via email, direct mail, etc.?
Not really from what I've been seeing.
Okay.
Funny enough, it's the audience who are a little bit older are the ones thinking that our CEO is directly texting to them. So like they're the ones really appreciating it and like mentioning the next time they see her that it was so nice to hear from her.
Sure.
So we're not seeing like a big differentiate between like who's replying to what, which is interesting to us.
Got it. Greg, it sounded like.
Yeah, that's very delicately put, Mike, but yeah, I was about to say that. Also, the just in terms of demographic analysis, it seems actually to run the board about the same as any of our other campaigns. So DM, I haven't noticed any major difference there.
Got it. All right. Are you able to tell if your email lifts your mail or if your mail lifts your email?
So it's increasingly
Age-old question.
more multi-channel, I would say. Like we're finding it depends year to year. We're treating it kind of as a single campaign, which we're doing especially this year, kind of counting everything that comes in starting from our holiday direct mail, which goes out at the end of October, right through to December 31st as one campaign. So like in 2021, our offline revenue was way up and digital fundraising was a little bit lower. And then last year it flipped, but like overall revenue was up across between offline and online revenue, but it seems to kind of switch between each other depending on the year.
Got it. How do you make sure to stand out from all the other emails people receive on Giving Tuesday, if you want to give up those details?
I can jump in on that. I think one of the differences is that we're going out to an existing list. There's a lot of prospecting going on, so they already know who we are, and we already know how we stand out to our existing list. So there's the images are usually people who have already been responsive to the hospital. They like seeing the kids. They like seeing the clowns. And then this is the first time we're using that triple match. So that is kind of a new experience for all of our contexts for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I'd say another possible way we do that is every September, October, we run an advocacy campaign around anti-ableism and the importance of accessibility. Typically, there's no fundraising involved with that. It's really just advocacy. And so it's really and it's kind of across offline, online, out-of-home advertisements. So we're really priming our audience towards, getting ready to give for us. Last year, it was called the Imagine Everybody campaign. So we made sure we incorporate the word imagine in Giving Tuesday in our holiday campaign. So they're seeing words that maybe resonate with them after seeing, billboards of us, TTC ads kind of throughout September, October that had zero kind of fundraising component to it.
So you're telling me you're using engaging and impact before an ask to get people ready to ask.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Which we've been talking about what it's going to look like this year, and we see that it is important to have that kind of timely, 2 months before we're really, asking them repeatedly to get them front of mind, and also just seeing the impact. Like they're seeing that their donation is supporting this, this campaign that is kind of fighting for accessibility and, inclusion without asking them during that campaign.
We have a few questions kind of wondering more about the newspaper ad. So the one I pulled is, you use the word interesting to describe the results with the ad with the QR code in the Toronto Star. Can you expand a bit more on that? We got about a minute.
So just compared to text messaging, it didn't raise as much as the text message that we did that year. And then it wasn't, it was kind of offered to us in the weeks ahead. So we thought we'd try it out, but we just didn't see the results that we maybe thought we would, being in, a newspaper with that reach. And then at the same time, we did a very modest SMS text for the first time that year, which kind of improved, had better results than the newspaper ad. So we, decided to go with text message again last year instead of the newspaper ad.
Got it. And last question on here is about matching. I'm actually going to take it, and then I'll pitch over to you. So it's about matching 2x, 3x, like how to use matching. If you're interested, John List, who's at the University of Chicago and did a lot of work in philanthropy research, shows that there is no difference between a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5x match. A 1x raises just as much as a 3x, and it would be better to have 3 1x's than 1 3x, is what all of his data shows, is that 3x's actually don't generate more revenue for the nonprofit. They just kind of look like a bigger number. That's just one thing just to kind of say out there as a piece of data if you want to think about that. But
we should test that.
Yeah. And it can be kind of hard because you have a donor who wants you to run the 3x with their $15,000. It's like, well, really what I'd love to do is run, individual 1x campaigns. That can be a kind of a tough sell for a donor sometimes, but just something to think about out there. So.
Yeah, that's interesting because we treat matches not only as a boost for campaigns like Giving Tuesday, but it is an opportunity to steward our major donors. Like they're a lot of them choose to be anonymous,
Totally.
but they're still liking to see that they're having double the impact. So like you said, it's hard to turn them away if you get a couple wanting to match Giving Tuesday.
I know, yeah, totally. So, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.